Well, it was a really well played game. Really, both teams for the most part. For a while, there it looked like it was going to be a pitcher's duel. I thought McGregor threw it extremely well, especially early. Really never threw the ball over the middle of the plate. Kept us off balance. Threw a lot of change-ups to our left-handed hitters and righties. He kept the fastball away for the most part and kept the ball down. On the other hand, Knight, just kept peppering the zone. Really was only threatened one inning. I think it might have been the third, where he had to throw, maybe more than 15, 18, 20 pitches. Other than that, he gave up a couple of solo homers, but give credit to their hitters. They just attacked the first one, kind of a, first pitch of an inning and just hammered it. And hey, that's the way it goes. We had the lead at the time. We just asked our pitchers to throw strikes, and that's what Blaine did. I think he walked one on the day and just struck out a few, and that's what we needed. We were trying to get as many innings out of him as we could. Obviously, the first game of the tournament, and he gave us exactly what we were hoping for. So on the offensive end, Heston put a good swing on a ball and put it in the bullpen, gave us 2-0 lead. That gave us a chance to relax a little bit. And then obviously we chipped away a little bit, hit a couple more home runs, put together a couple of nice innings, and then Heston finished it up off with another home run to the opposite field on a pitch that looked like it was elevated and left out over the plate a little bit. And I'm not even sure what that pitch was. I think he might have tried to sneak a fastball by him, but it might have been a changeup. Who knows? But great job by our team.
Questions for the student athletes? Bob?
Yeah, Heston, what did you hit on each home run? And everybody you obviously had the best day, but everybody had a hit. What was it, kind of contagious or along the lineup, or just kind of what did you think of the hitting? Everybody had at least one hit today. 10 guys did.
That just shows the strength in our lineup. Every guy can hit the ball well, and it's hard to pitch against a team where everyone 1 through 9 is a threat. The first home run was a changeup away, and then the second one was a fastball up and away.
Blaine, just for the heat, was that a factor and at all? And obviously, apparently not. But how did you cope with it and just their lineup in general?
Heat-wise, it was just stay hydrated and just try to keep out of the sun as much as possible in between innings. And their lineup, they're very, very good lineup. They don't swing and miss a lot. And they get their pitch, they hammer it, and that's what that guy did for those 2 home runs. He sat on 2 pitches and hit them out. So, props to him and props to their lineup for doing what they did.
Heston, just to kind of piggyback off the previous question, but being able to kind of get back into the batter's box and kind of get that going a little bit after having a down weekend at the SEC tournament, what was that like for you to kind of get back going again?
It feels good. Baseball's a hard game at times, and you're not always going to be raking every weekend, so you just got to learn from the times that are rough and keep doing what you're doing when the times are good.
Yeah, Blaine, what was working well for you today? Why do you think you were so effective?
Slider, for the most part, was working really well for me. Fastball location was pretty shaky, so I was just trying to keep it over the plate. But, efficiently for pitch-wise, and it was definitely a slider.
Thanks.
Hey, Heston, I don't know if you knew it, but I think you got the freshman record here for runs scored and maybe another record hits, and you're approaching some of the others. Just your season in a nutshell and starting off your postseason this way, what does that feel like?
It's just a lot of fun. Honestly, have a team that we have and to be able to compete at this level has just been a blast for me to have an experience like this my first year.
Heston, obviously coming in, you and Casey, first postseason experience here in the regional. Were you nervous coming in? Obviously it didn't show at the plate today, but any nervous energy?
I wouldn't say nervous. I would say more so anxious, on just ready to get that first experience of what the crowd will be like, how the game will be played, and just things like that.
For both players, just getting a win to get this thing started the right way and continuing on in the winner's bracket.
Oh yeah, no, that's huge. We're hosting everything else, so we have quote home field advantage, but I mean all these teams are really good, and so for us to get a win and be able to get ahead of everybody else has been really nice.
You know, in the postseason, every win matters, and you just got to keep winning so you can keep the season alive.
Hey, Blaine, not that you need a whole lot of support today, but what's it like to get that many runs behind you?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you know, they've produced for me all year long, and you know, half my outings wouldn't be what they were if it wasn't for our offense. And so, you know, big thanks to them, and you know, I really hope they keep it up.
Blaine, tell me what it's like to watch Heston.
I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. You know, he's a really good hitter. Like I said, I couldn't get him out in the fall. I mean, I tried as hard as I could, and I couldn't get him out in the fall. So I feel bad for anybody who has to face him right now.
Hey, Blaine, the draft is Monday. You're obviously probably going to be a pretty high pick. I know you're focused on the regional and postseason right now. Kind of what are your feelings as the draft approaches?
Whatever happens, happens. I mean, right now I'm focused on Arkansas baseball and getting us to where we can get to. You know, when Monday rolls around, when my number's called, great. You know, but until then, I'm just focused on getting this regional over with and moving on.
Dave, when this 2 o'clock start time was announced, oh, just the student, the crowd, it was 2 o'clock, it was hot, there were a lot of people that were saying early in the week it might not be full. There might have been a few empty seats, but there were about 900 people out on the concourse watching the game. It was more than full. Are you surprised by that they came out in all this heat and people having to work?
I'm not. You know, I mean, I've seen what the crowds can do here, and you know, our fans love baseball here, and you know, and we love them, and we appreciate all their support, and you know, I think it's just going to get better as the weekend goes on.
I think, Blaine, before the season, I think Coach challenged you, Coach Johnson, not to look at social media. Have you kept that up?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to it. I mean, what's it going to do for me? Nothing. You know, really, just make me have a big head. I mean, there ain't no reason for me to do that. So I'm just going to stay off of it until, well, I guess, when season ends.
Any more questions for student athletes? Thanks, gentlemen. Same thing for Coach Van Horn. Raise your hand and get a mic to you.
Dave, in some of the games early in the year when maybe you pulled Blaine early, do you think that added up today where he had more energy and more?
There's probably 4 or 5 games where we went and got him in the 6th or 7th, and you know, when I went out there, he'd say, I got another inning in me, I'm fine. And I would always comment, we're going to need that later. And he knew what I meant. And, you know, you never know how it's going to go. But we have confidence in our bullpen, and, you know, we felt like we were going to get to a regional one way or another. And, you know, I want him to try to be as strong as he can be. So I would say that, you know, the way he threw today, I'd say it definitely helped.
Dave, you're 4-0 against ORU in the postseason since 2015. They're obviously, you know, a good program. Just kind of what do you think's been the key to that? What's that been like for you?
Well, we've played here for one thing. You know, the games have been tight. You know, last year both games were 1-run games, and honestly, I thought today was going to be a 1-run game the way it was going. We got a 2-0 lead. They had a home run, and you're thinking, we just left a runner at second. We had a runner at second with 1 out. We don't score him. Think it's going to be tight, you know, try to run a hit and run, and the guy throws a pitch. It was the farthest pitch away from the plate he threw the whole day. The guy gets thrown out, and then Carson hits a home run. So, and then we were off and going. You know, I just think they have a good program, and I just feel fortunate that we've been have an opportunity to play here, and, you know, we've played well against them.
Coach, what's it like having a guy like Heston Kjerstad on your roster? I mean, he's such a happy-go-lucky kid as a freshman, just having fun out there, but clearly being so successful. It's almost like he doesn't really realize the stage that he's on. Yeah, it's obviously fun having Heston on the team with the personality he has. Like you said, he's always smiling. He doesn't get down too much. If he does, he doesn't show it. Sometimes he frustrates me because he's smiling too much, and I don't think it's funny all the time, but he's just a great kid, you know, and he's a
great student. I mean, he's a straight A student. I mean, if you had a bunch of Hestons on your team, you'd want to coach till you're 80. I'll tell you that. So just excited to think about him, obviously the rest of this year, but for the next couple of years as well.
Coach, I know you said during the week this wasn't a gamble to play at 2 o'clock. Either way, it paid off pretty well for you. Just how nice is it to have this one out of the heat, 1-0 in the regional, and now what do the next 24 hours look like for the team?
Well, day one's always, to me, the hardest part of the regional. There's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of anticipation. You just want to get out there and play. And to me, it seemed like both teams were a little tight the first 2 or 3 innings at the plate. And then it seemed to loosen up after that. What we'll do now is we just told them to continue to hydrate, try to get their weight back. Probably lost a couple pounds today, a lot of the guys out there in the heat. And, sleep in a little bit. And we know we play the second game tomorrow, and we'll figure out who we play after this one's over. And, talked about pregame tomorrow. We'll be inside because we're at the second game. See, the first game gets to do all of its work on the field. So just kind of went over some of those things and, tell them to get the rest.
Dave, I think you had a conference right before Jack's Biggers at bat, which turned out to be a home run. What was going on there with that? It worked, obviously.
I told him to hit a home run. I honestly, let me think what I tell him. Oh, we talked about pitch selection a little bit. Just get something that's up in the zone a little bit. And he got him a good pitch, and he hammered it.
Coach Van Horn, besides Heston, Cole hit the ball hard today. Cook hit it hard. Shaddy kind of, they maybe didn't have the best week in Birmingham. Any special things that went on during the off days, or they just kind of find it today?
Well, it's like Heston said. Some weeks or weekends aren't yours. It doesn't go your way. And what we did this week was just worked on staying through the middle a lot and rested a little bit. Didn't let them swing as much as maybe they have in the past. Day to day, our practices were crisp. Tried to get them used to the weather a little bit, but also, get them out of there where they could rest. We lifted 2 or 3 times this past week. Try to gain a little strength, maintain strength. Really, what we're trying to do at this time of year. And I just think, they learn how to flush it, let it go, move on. And that's what you have to do when you're a veteran. And I think those guys did that.
Hey, Dave, a couple of Heston things. You said some hitters were tied early in the game. So what did you think of his approach in the home run at bat that he had? And second, his freshman season in perspective, because he's approaching a lot of freshman records here.
Yeah, his first at bat was a little frustrating because we had a runner in scoring position, and he hit the very first pitch, and it was a changeup. And that's what we wanted him to look for, something off speed and just go the other way. And he rolled it over to second. It was a little frustrating. We had a little talk about it. I think Coach Thompson, when we got the field, talked to him about it. And the approach to me needed to be middle away. He needed to hit the ball up the middle the other way off that pitcher, off McGregor. And then, he did it. So, but as far as, what he's done throughout the year, and it's been from the day he walked in here in the fall. He led our team in hitting in the fall. We knew Martin was going to be really good, but Heston came in here and he proved it pretty quick that he was going to start. And he really is. He started out hot, had a little lull in there, probably 3/4 of the way through the season. You kind of thought, oh, the freshman's getting tired. Mentally, he's getting beat down a little bit. We're in the SEC grind, and then he climbed out of it. And he's just he's a smart kid, and he doesn't panic, and he's been fun to watch.
Jason. How impressive is what Jax is doing right now with 9 fingers and being able to make the contact he has?
That'd be 7 fingers and 2 thumbs, wouldn't it? I don't know officially. But he did it. I tell you what, I kind of kidded with him the other day. I said, if I'd have known you were going to swing the bat this good, I would have smashed your finger a long time ago. Because, he's swinging the bat now like he did last year. And I think he just needed a little time mentally to get away and be off to the side and realize, hey, it's not as hard as I'm making it out to be in my mind. And, he got 3 hits in Hoover and 6 official at bats, a couple of walks, and then, today I think he singled and homered and just doing a good job of just trying to shoot the ball through the middle. And the swing seems a little shorter to me. And, him hitting a home run today into a light breeze, I wasn't expecting that at all. I was just wanting a single, and it's been good to see that. But that's been pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, Dave, how big was what Blaine did today for the bullpen and the rest of the weekend, and just what he said he didn't have good fastball location. What do you think of his performance overall?
Well, what he did was he did a great job. We won't know how big it was until this thing gets into a couple more games, and what happens with our pitching. But we may be talking again that set the tone and gave us a chance to have enough pitching to get through it, or whatever happens. His stuff today, his fastball location was okay. He had a good cutter and he had a good slider. He didn't land that breaking ball till the 7th inning. And it's like he couldn't get a grip on it, the slower breaking ball, the one that's 71, 74 miles an hour. He got one called for a strike in the 7th inning. That was the first one. So he was really without his breaking ball today. And that's one thing about Blaine. He's got 4 good pitches, and if one's not working or 2, he can get you with the other 2. And it probably kept him from striking out 3 or 4 more guys because he really didn't have the downward type breaking ball going. Everything was kind of on the same plane, and they made contact.
Yeah, that 2 for 1. I guess is Casey going to start tomorrow night? Casey Murphy?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I figured, but
yeah,
got to ask. And then you put Wilson in to pinch run, even he gets a hit. You had 10 guys get hits.
Yeah.
I know you got a good lineup. What'd you think of that? The up and down performance.
Well,
all the way around?
we did a good job of putting pressure on him there. Really, from about I think the 5th inning on, it just seems like we had runners all over the bases and had a chance to drive in a couple more, but hit a couple balls hard, but obviously a couple of big home runs. I feel like the lineup's getting a little bit deeper than it was, say, 2 and 3 weeks ago when we had the injuries. Gates left a couple runners out there today, but he also took some good swings, just missed a couple, hit a ball off the wall. So with him swinging it a little bit better in the 8 hole and leaving Biggers in the 9 hole. I feel like Cook in the 7 hole's hitting a little better. Shaddy swung it better. I think the lineup is definitely a lot deeper than it was a couple of weeks ago.
Any more questions for Coach Van Horn? Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.